Hello and welcome. I am Elena Valdez, and I'm here to do the reading for the parents and guardians of the Cancer child. Welcome, everyone. I hope you are having a great day as you listen to this. I want to remind everyone that this is not a gender-specific channel, meaning you'll hear me say he, she, they sporadically throughout the reading, but please apply gender the way it best suits you and your family needs. And also, if you haven't already done so, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. It will very much help me. As you can tell, I'm a new channel here and trying to grow and get it out there in front of other parents that may want some of this child tarot guidance. Yeah. So, and also, as always, please remember these readings are general. Okay, it may apply one month and not the other, or if you're one of the lucky ones, and it applies every month, right? But in any case, I hope you enjoy. So the first three cards here are from the child's perspective, and I usually top off with this card, which is the advice card for you, the parent. And the advice card is sometimes associated with the conflict that your child may be going through, but not always. Sometimes I actually just have a separate card here. Um, just, just it just depends. Sometimes spirit just wants to give you, the parent, a separate message, and other times it's in relationship to the reading. Also, I failed to mention this is for March. This reading is for March 2021. Okay, let's get started. So, this position here is what your little one, your little Cancer, is experiencing during the month of March. And your little one's having a pretty fantastic time by himself or herself. That's what the Nine of Pentacles is all about. The Nine of Pentacles is about succeeding and feeling good in our own skin. And pretty much everything we touch turns to gold, right? And very self-satisfied with being alone, too. This is an energy of accomplishing a lot on your own. And so if this is what your little Cancer is experiencing during the month of March, it tells me that they're feeling very good about the things they are putting out there in the world, whether it be their play, the way they're playing, whether it be what they're creating, or the self-esteem that they're accumulating, because Pentacles always goes back to our self-worth, our value system, self-esteem, and whatnot. And also remember, when I read these cards, I'm reading it from child context. So it's going to read a little differently than if I would be doing this for an adult. Okay, so just always keep that in mind when you watch my videos on child tarot. So here we have a Cancer that is just enjoying life. Okay, being with himself, being with herself, being with themselves, just being. And you're going to notice an upsurge here, a surge of independence. You're probably already experiencing that. I've been noticing that with Cancerian energy, moving towards that more of a leader, someone that people look up to. So your little one may have friends around or little peers that are really looking up to her or him and how they are getting around. And another thing, a lot of you you're here for so many different age ranges, right? So some of you, this is going to be for little itty bitty ones. It's going to be different. So for an itty bitty one, this card could basically just symbolize that your little one's taking his or her first steps and feeling really amazing about it. And for others of you, it could just be, your teenager that is accomplishing and learning how to be alone and stand on his and her own 2 feet and learning how to figure things out in life on his own, right? So again, it's going to play out differently depending on who you are and the age of your child. But in general, this is a great card to get started with because it says that your child is content. And how beautiful is that, right? To have your child be content, at peace, and in harmony with his or her own surroundings. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's move on to a potential conflict or challenge that your little one may have here in March. Two of Pentacles. Yeah, again, it's a beautiful card to get because it is Pentacles. It's about balancing tangibles, balancing responsibilities, balancing and learning. It's also about learning where to push the boundaries in terms of our own self worth and our needs, right? Because it's a very, again, it's another independent card. It's about here, I've got this. Let me handle these responsibilities. I'll figure it out. And I think it's so cute that there's a little crab there, right? Which is funny because it's not associated with cancer in any way, but that's cute that this is the cancer reading and little crab showed up. So, the challenge that your little one is having potentially, I strongly sense that there's a struggle between independence and others. And the reason I say that is because on one hand, the pentacle that's rising up is steady, independent, high on its own. And then there's this need to look down to his little friend and almost like he needs to decide between being alone or being with others. So you could have a little one having a conflict with that. Some of your children have probably gone back to an actual classroom, depending on where you live in the world, right? Most of us have been homeschooling, right? There's been homeschooling, children have been at home. And so that could also be the balance that he or she is struggling with, going from being alone at home, which is, in general, Cancerian's domain, into the world and needing to participate with others. And even if they're not going into a classroom, there is a little bit of a balance here of like how much time is too much time alone in his or her own little world versus getting out there in the world and communing with others. So that's the challenge here. And what I love about tarot cards or tarot readings for children is that it gets to give you, the parent, a heads up of something that could be potentially coming up to keep your eye out for, right? Because there is a need here to balance, but your little one may not want to. Okay, so in some respects, that may be just fine. That may work fine with your family dynamic, but in others, it may not. If you have siblings, for example, if the little one has siblings or cousins coming over, or neighbors or classmates that require participation or inclusion with him or her, then that could be an issue where you, the parent, now needs to step in and help him or her come out of his little shell, as little Cancerians do, right? Okay, so let's go to this position. This is my favorite position of my readings because it tells you, the parent, what your little one needs most from you during the month of March. Ace of Cups. Oh, I love this. Yeah. So your little one is exploring new creativity and new forms of love, right? Again, if this is a little older teenager, let's say, maybe there's a little like crush here or creativity, but the reality is because it fell in the what your child needs most from you, there's a need here to bring in more creativity and allowing your little one to play more or to inspire and facilitate your little one to come out of his or her own shell and participate and play. There are others of you who have older children who, for the first time, are figuring out the whole crush thing, right? That's obviously older teenager. And that there's a need for you, the parent, to facilitate that and help them balance that and help them kind of sort of navigate that, what that means. But for others, there is a sense here. What I'm picking up is that what would help bring them out of this, oh, which way do I go, is you, the parent, implementing some kind of social, creative activity that would allow them to express themselves that way. That would include others as well. But there is a need here for play. There's more play required. I think your little one's been playing quite a bit on his own, that and you've probably been happy with it and fine because, well, she seems to be doing great. But now it's time for you to step in and play with your little one. A lot of you have only children. I'm picking that up very, very strongly. And obviously, not all of you, but many of you do. And if that's the case, your child has gotten really good at doing their own thing. And that's why this card popped up, because even though they may not necessarily want you to step in, but they need you to. Yeah, there's some parent time here that needs to happen, more emotion that needs to be um, e- expressed towards your little one. And Ace of Cups is all about new. It's about beginnings. It's about something new. That's the sky's the limit at that point. So there's some creativity required here from you, the parent, to bring in more emotion, more nurturing, more play, more love. So again, it's going to be different for all of you depending on your household and your needs. So let's go to the advice card. This may give us a little more information. Okay, so yeah, so there's a little bit of conflict. Okay, so going back to this energy, remember I said in the beginning, sometimes the advice is for you, sometimes it's in relationship to the conflict. This is in relationship to the conflict that your child is having. And see, there's conflict here. There's a little bit of this is the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is always about it can be a little competitive, it can be conflict with others. You see how he sort of he kind of won the battle here, and he's off kind of smug there. Like he's got the three swords that are still standing, two are on the ground. He's won this little battle. But sometimes what that indicates from a child perspective is conflict with peers, right? And remember earlier we said that. We said that there's this tug of wanting to do his or her own thing, but then life, peers are requiring participation and not knowing how to play nice in this regard is about not knowing how to play nice, right? And because here she's probably fighting having to go out and play with others because she's having a grand old time by herself. Why would she want to? She's just so content, right? But again, life, the world necessitates that this energy be woken up a bit to get out into the world and participate. And it comes back to the Ace of Cups, how you are going to facilitate this. And you're facilitating it with love. You're coming to your child from the love angle and the creative angle, and speaking to them from those terms of loveliness and creativeness, and why this is important to play with others and collaborate and participate and still have your independence and be able to do you and be on your own, right? It's very interesting because Cancerians generally, I mean, they are homebodies in general. I know that's a generality, but they usually want to be with others and their siblings. So this is a very unique energy for Cancer here. So it's very interesting. I'm interested to know what dynamic has shifted in your home to cause this. If any of you care to comment, please do so. Okay, so let's move on. And I usually just end it here with the advice card, but this month I'm doing something a little different, and I am pulling a different card. It's not tarot, it's not oracle, it's this other fun deck. And what I'm doing with this deck is I'm asking what would be the best thing for you to do with your family during the month of March, or what does your family, so this is not just about your Cancerian child or you, this is about your entire family. What does your entire family need? Authenticity. Again, it's about hanging out with others. It's about it's about collaborating and being with others and allowing others to be themselves, right? So here's another thing I'm picking up on. There's some uniqueness. Sometimes you're so comfortable with yourself, and if you start to play or if you meet new little friends, and I'm talking about your little Cancerians specifically, if the people they're meeting now because of their new classroom that they're going into, a new neighborhood or whatever, new neighbor moved in, they may be a little different from them or from your family dynamic that's causing this conflict, right? So that in itself, the fact that their new peer or new classmate or new friend, neighbor, what have you, or sibling is different from them could be making them want to go into their little shell, into what's familiar, right? Because this card here is about embracing what's different, but it can also be about embracing the fact that your little one, really what it is, it's about embracing that your entire family has different needs, right? Each member of your family, and embracing the authenticity of each member of the family and allowing them to express who they are. But it does also go back to this. There's some difficulty in acclimating to someone's difference here. I hope that makes sense. But what a cool card to get as what the family needs to do together as a family unit during the month of, and this could be as simple as just maybe getting together with your family, sitting around in the living room and talking about each other's differences and embracing it and telling each other why you love how different you are all from one another. And see the shirt here says, I support women and cis women. Beautiful. And the name of the card is authenticity. That's what your family needs during the month of March. Alrighty. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was helpful and that you took some guidance from it. And I hope to see you back here in April, and enjoy this spring equinox. It's going to be amazing. It's the new year. It's the astrological new year. Enjoy it. Bye.